Okay, so now that we have this area somewhat finished, we want to have a coat rack and some shelving over here. So I've been toying with some ideas about older rustic materials, and I think I've found a few that might work, where we've got a post and we've got some shelves, top and somewhere around, waist high. So we could drop keys, phones, wallets, whatever, and then have enough room for all of our coats and maybe some guest coats. And these are the materials I'm looking at. So this would be the top shelf, and the support would go under that shelf. We've got the post over here, and we've got another shelf here with an under support. I think that these are nice looking materials. I've already sanded them and kind of cleaned them up to give them that rustic look, but still be clean and smooth to the touch with no splinters. This one took the longest. It's really old, but it's turned out really good. I really like the aged look of it. Now I just have to figure out how I want this to kind of be assembled. So I think what I'm gonna do is sit this one, just sit it right on top. This one will come into the side of the post here. And so we should have plenty of room for all of our coats, and then a shelf on top for things that we may not use very often, maybe a small purse or a small backpack or fanny packs, or anything like that could sit on top and add just a little bit of storage space. If this one goes in the middle, we could put our keys and things on there. So I'm gonna toy with this idea, maybe take it inside and look at it and see how it's gonna look, and see what I can come up with. Okay, so we've decided on these 4 boards. These 2 here are going to be the shelf that goes just under the box, and these 2 are going to go on the top. The big thick one will be the very top shelf and will sit on top up here. And the one with the kind of raw edge here the raw edge will be right on top of the box. So I'm gonna bolt those together, and then I'm gonna sit them up here, bolt these together, put them here, get them cut to the size, and I'm gonna have to notch out a little bit so that it fits around this and it touches this wall. I'm not sure how I'm going to attach it to here just yet. So to attach it to the wall, I'm going to have some brackets that probably are on top of the shelf that you can't see. And that way I can keep it above the shelf and you don't have bolts coming through the face. And on the bottom, I'm probably just going to have one, probably somewhere about the middle of the box, to just hold it snug to the wall. And that should be plenty. All this is gonna hold is coats and maybe a purse or 2, jacket, whatever, but it's not gonna be anything that's gonna hold a whole lot of weight. I have to be careful because the wiring runs right along the bottom edge here. So I think this is gonna look really good. So I'm gonna get started cutting these to the size that I want. I don't want this is actually too close here. It's gonna scoot over a little bit, because if we do have anything on this surface here, I don't want it to be able to cover the plug. So I'll move that over just a little bit, and then we'll bolt everything together. Okay, so here's what I have so far. I've got the shelving in place. I've got the top shelf in place, and it is all bolted in to the wall. I actually ended up only putting 1 bolt into the wall with a L bracket up there. I have them bolted into the wall, into the little piece of trim that I have there that helps just support it. And it is really nice and sturdy. You're not going to move that. So I did as little as possible as far as anchoring. I didn't want to drill any holes in my wall. So you can see here the little anchor that I have. It's got 2 screws going into the shelf and 1 wall anchor. And it is a really deep wall anchor. It's like 5 centimeters deep, I believe is how deep it is. I'm pretty happy with the way it looks and its function. So now what we want to do is use like a rustic metal hook system on top and bottom. And mostly we will have coats along the bottom. And then I'm going to put some key holders on this post. So we have places to put our keys. and then the upper one maybe hang a purse or a hat or something like that. We can hang coats here, but it's not as tall here as it is here. You can hang a nice long coat here and it won't touch the floor. So that's going to be nice. And I'm really happy with the way that turned out. And I used a bunch of wood that I didn't have a use for otherwise. So that turned out really good. Like I said, I've got these screws going into this trim, this little wood piece of trim here. So it's not anchored into the wall, but this piece is construction adhesive to the wall. And then I've got screws coming up through the bottom of this and coming down from the top up there. That hides the two screws going into that piece of trim there. And then we use some little L brackets here just to hold the shelf nice and sturdy to the post. It gives it a nice rustic look. I carried that piece of wood all the way through so that it spaced it away from the wall, just like the base trim. And then I left my shelf here long with a nice rough textured edge to give it that nice rough look. And I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Now we just need to get us some hooks. And I think what we're going to do is something like a black rustic metal, nothing that's going to be very polished or finished. At least that's what I think at the moment. And then we can start hanging stuff on it. So we just have to locate those hooks and we'll be ready to finish it off. Okay, so we located some hooks that worked out really nice. They're nice and rustic. They look like old nails that have been bent and shaped. They're kind of a hammered texture, so they're not polished or refined at all. They look really nice and rustic. There were 8 of them in a package, so we got 2 packages and put 8 on each section. And also in the barn, I found these old like L-shaped nails that create like little hooks. So these are our key hooks and purse hooks and things like that. So we're gonna hang all our keys on the inside here. This one, I think we're gonna do like a purse or something like that. So she's got, it just hangs right here on the front. And then I installed this one, and this is our little shoehorn. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all the coats and things that we have out right now and the things that I know I'm gonna use, go ahead and hang those up and make this thing start looking useful. Okay, so I've got all the coats hung that we have out at the moment. It is getting cold, so we're probably gonna have more coming out here. So I've got my shoehorn hanging on the side, easily accessible. We've got the her little handbag hangs here, and then we've got a few keys here. This one will be where the car key goes, so that looks nice. And we'll also be hiding the breaker box, which is a little bit of an eyesore in this area, and make that look a little bit better. And yeah, so we've got our umbrellas here, raincoats, everything we need available and quickly accessible. We can even put some shoes down below here, ones that maybe we use a little more often rather than them being here beside the shoe cabinet. But our shoe cabinet is completely full, and we're looking for something that will fit this space just a little bit larger. And we may do away with this shelf if we can find something a little taller and a little wider. Maybe I'm going to make something to go there, but I believe this is going to work out really nice. It looks a lot nicer having this here, not having just a blank wall. So yeah, pretty happy with that. Call that job complete. And we'll get working on a few other finishing touches and make it look nice. Everything's coming together. Looking good.